So we're going to have a look at the Neon web page. This is where all your satellite and terrestrial comms may come in, and it's found under this web address here, and you would have been given it your own username and password. So all telemetry probably would be handled by this server and through this server. So you'll see as you go in, you'll see your own unique sites for your country. In this case it's in our area where we work. And we've got climate sites, hydrological sites. So if we look at a climate site for interest, some of them have these nice little pictures and diagrams to show the wind speed and direction, temperature, humidity, barometric pressure and trending, soil moisture, and rainfall totals, and sunshine, solar radiation if it has it. So we can look at those, they're nice for display, or we can look at the actual channel values here. So you see all the individual channels marked here, and we can click on any of these to actually look at the data in more detail. But let's go and look at a hydrological site. So if we pick a normal river, this is again on a satellite, we can see it comes up with the data channels here listed below. We're not going to worry about these other tabs. A lot of them are for programming and looking at behind the scenes. So the main thing of interest is the data channels tab, and you can see it lists all the channels or parameters being logged at that site with stage, flow, voltage, maybe backup in this case as well, and rainfall. So to look at any of these, we just need to click on click on the channel we want. This is showing us the dates and times and what actually is being recorded under each of those parameters. So here's our primary stage, for instance. So if we click on that, it'll bring up a default of 2 days of the record. You can see the water level's just been dropping here. There are other defaults of 1 day, 1 week, and 30 days. We can look along at the data here, and the mouse, and it'll show up the values. Here's a week's plot, for instance. So we can see there's a bit of a fresh gone over. We can click and drag over that event to see it in a close up. We can go out to 30 days. And you can also specify any time range, start and finish there. So there's a 30-day event here, showing the record. Now another handy thing is we can choose a second parameter. At this stage only 2 can be done in Neon, but you can choose a second one to plot over the top. So we're still at the same site. We can choose a different site, but in this case we'll stay at the same site, but let's choose, say, the backup recorder or the secondary recorder at that site, and that'll then be plotted over the top. It should come in a different colour, so you can see it plotted over the top here in red. And as you go across it with your cursor, you can see both values. You can zoom in on a section, so we can see there's a slight difference between the primary and the backup there, and looking at the values you can see there's about 2 millimeters between them. It's just the different offsets of those two encoders at the site. So handy for looking at your data and checking your data as well. So if we remove that second one, we go back to, say, a week's data, week's graph, and this time rather than stage we'll plot rainfall. And we're just going to refresh this. If we go back to 30 days, we should see a plot with stage and any tips from the tipping bucket, which you see here. So you can see there's quite a few tips happened before this flood went through, or this fresh. And of course that's the reason for the fresh. We had a lot of rainfall at the site, so we can see these tips occurring here. So again, another good check of the rain gauge and the water level response. So let's just remove that rainfall now. So instead of using a second parameter from the site, we're going to choose a different site. So in this case we've chose a site which is upstream. And we're going to look at the water level at that upstream site and see how that compares with this site. So we can overplot any other site you wish, but it pays to do one in the same catchment as a comparison. And there you have the upstream site in red. You can see the peaks occur earlier than the downstream site because of the water flowing down the river. So another good check of both our sites are recording the same and recording well. So what we'd like you to do now is to go into the Neon web page yourself using your username and password and produce a similar two plots of two neighbouring water level stations or one water level in rainfall, and just give us a screenshot or some evidence of your understanding and use of it.